What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Wednesday night with me, Tier, and Scorpio on the bridge. Scorpio, I
Child,
did. I didn't think he was gonna make it back to
look here.
hear
I am so
hear the
I
intro.
don't know. I don't know who did it, but somebody went and poked holes in these doggone Wawa cups.
Mm,
As soon as I poured my drink in my cup,
everything
started pouring out at the bottom. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
like a shower. Was it multiple holes or was it just one big
It,
one?
it was just. I mean, like, dog. I just changed pants.
Dang, that's crazy.
Like, seriously, who does that? Why would you do something like that? It
Yeah,
had to
that's
be a
wild.
child. I would think. I would
That's.
hope it's a child.
I will hope so. I will
Well,
hope so.
we are in
Oh man,
2022, and like I always say, people are weird. So,
people
yeah.
people are weird. People are weird, most
Hmm.
definitely. So hopefully the theme song, the intro, hype you up a little bit, even
Always,
though.
always, always, always.
Oh man. So all right, folks, tonight's show, we're gonna be talking to a comic creator who is also a great he's a good friend of mine. He's uh if you read my manga Risha Exos, he created all of those mechs, he created all the ships that you see in there. um Same thing for like a Cypher Team Alpha. Like if you
Mhm.
remember the end of issue one, the
Mm,
ray, the manta ray that came in, he
yeah.
created that. He also created the Stinger. He also created Tuskegee's infamous P-51
Ooh.
Starfighter. Uh, so we're great friends. He's helped me build the dope vehicle life of of the
Oh wow.
Soulverse, and he's doing it himself in the Raxon universe. So, which is his thing. That's
Hmm.
his comics. So we're gonna bring him up and let him talk about those comics because if you are a mech fan and you don't get attached easily,
Something wrong with you.
his comics are for you. If you thought I was bad, if you thought I was bad, you have to read a Raxon issue. I'm just saying. All right, Thomas, we're gonna bring you up. What's going on?
How you
Hey,
doing, Mr. Johnson?
Oh man,
how's it going?
it's
Oh,
going, it's going.
good.
Man, I am so glad to finally. I remember when we like when I went to MechaCon in Detroit, when we finally met face to face and stuff, and we were drinking stuff. And I was like, yeah, in the future we're gonna be doing podcasts and making toys, and here we are.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Here we are. So
You hit the
it's crazy.
podcast. You
Yep,
definitely did it.
yep. So man, it's crazy. It's crazy to see it all come through. Oh man. So okay, we're getting some Twitchers coming in. So just to let you know too, Thomas, we're on Twitch,
Yes.
Facebook,
Okay.
and YouTube.
Like,
So
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
yeah. So Thomas, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that one banner right there, and I'm gonna let you tell the folks out there who you are and what it is that you do.
I am Thomas Johnson II, creator of Raxon Universal Dominion, which is a sci-fi space opera with a combination of a lot of elements. You have a mecha element, giant robots, human element, aliens, and the main character of the whole story is the Raxon, which is an alien being. It's a pretty big story. And it's like it started off kind of big, but as the years progressed, it got even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And after I took on a business partner, Damone Amerson, who's great,
Yeah.
it's like it got even bigger. And it's still not done.
Mm.
It's like every time we turn around, anytime me and him hook up and meet,
Mhm.
like the show, it's like if we were able to get this into an anime, it would be a lot of episodes.
Oh man. So what you're saying is you're making the next One Piece rival.
So in other, no. So in other words, he's smart enough to make the whole thing. So if they try
Mhm.
to, they can't take it from it.
Yeah, which is
It's
what we talked
his.
about on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thomas and I talk about that a lot
Yeah.
about
Oh yeah.
creating your content first. Because on top of not only that, but you're like you were a union president and stuff like that at one
Mm-hmm.
point, right?
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he knows how things can go left real fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so
Crazy.
so I know we've talked about that before offline. We've been like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get content first. Like everybody's running like, oh, I got a movie option. It's like, how many books you do? One.
Right.
You might want to go back and do some more.
Yeah.
Get a
you a
fan
hater.
base at least. Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like build a fan base at least, because if you got a fan base and they're like vehemently protective of the work,
They're not gonna
they
let that
can't
happen.
do like, and if they do it, I mean, we see some of the ramifications of that now. of how people of how people react to that.
Yeah.
So man. So we're gonna go ahead and get on to this first question. Like I mentioned before we brought Thomas on, I was talking about how he's drawing mechs, vehicles, and ships for me. But let everybody know, how long have you been drawing, that type of art? Like the I'd like to call it technical art, because I feel like got to have a mathematical mind a little bit to draw ships and stuff. That's what I feel. But yeah, how long have you been drawing that type of stuff?
Let's see. I've been drawing since I was a kid, since I was little. I can't even remember what age. I'm not gonna say forever, but it's been since I was a kid, a very young kid. My dad used to draw, and he used to be able to draw people. Like he can look at you and draw a person, draw the person, like draw you. And I was always looking at his drawings, and and he's the one who got me into watching like monster movies, everything like that. We used to go to the movies at nighttime. The sister didn't want to go. We go see horror movies and everything. And I used to always like the horror movies. Not necessarily like the Frankenstein, but Godzilla was one of the first ones that really did it for me.
Right.
And I remember I tried drawing them, and then I drew it at school with, when they give us paintbrushes and everything in school. That was a long time ago. Instead of saying my age there. But and I would draw, but then it's like over the years, I had started drawing other things, as I got older, drawing a little bit better, cleaner. High school, I got into drawing a lot of dragons. That was kind of like a thing. Then I kind of began getting into a little technical things of like tanks, jets, everything like that, ships. And it kind of evolved, and robots I kind of used to touch on, but I didn't really draw them. Like I drew them in middle school, and I had a little comic that I did called Defender, and it was inspired from Voltron.
Okay.
Voltron and Robotech, because it was like what I grew up on when they were on TV, not cable and all of that stuff, but they were heavily edited. And I used to draw the robots in there. And when Transformers came out, that was a big inspiration. So I started trying to draw those, and was making my own lines of them, my own offshoots of them, which I would swear to God that I would have saw some of those ones. I've seen some of those, but that's neither here nor there. But as I started going more and more, I started doing like shapes, more blocks and everything. Because my dad showed me how to draw straight lines without using without using rulers and everything like that. Like a lot of people would use equipment to draw a lot of different things. For me, I always do free.
Yeah, keep going. I want to just want to show them, if y'all haven't seen some of the mechs that he has. Yeah. But yeah, Thomas, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to show them this.
Appreciate it.
Because
I'm not ignoring y'all. I'm on his page also.
Yeah.
I'm just looking, and
y'all gotta look at y'all gotta look at these things.
Yeah, you have to see them. Oh, wow.
And he has some meaner looking ones too. Like that one is one of them. There we go. Yeah, he got some meaner looking ones. I'm trying to find the one like. Okay, I thought Instagram was being done. Now this one right here, this is a beast, but it ain't even like, that's a monster right there.
Yes, it is. Just add a bit Titan.
Yeah, for real, right? That's a monster right there.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun drawing them,
Mhm.
And it's like a lot of times, a lot of my mechs that I got were drawn by accident. It was
Okay.
like they were just drafts, and then I'd set it down because I never throw anything away. So it was like, you know, right, just be drawing sometimes, just doodling or whatever, and then I'll be like, that looks kind of cool.
Mhm.
Then I'll try to mess with it some further, and if I don't get where I'm going with it, I'll stop, come back to it, and
Yeah.
just save it for later. And then later comes where I'm like, I don't put it in piles of other drawings, and then I'm looking and just have to look at it and be like, you know what, let me grab that, and then it just comes back to me, and it's like next thing I
Yeah.
know, I done finished this drawing, and it's completely different than the way I started, but I
Uh-huh.
love the way it turned out,
That's what's up.
and that's
Now,
That's
how
what's
I
now,
up.
how
started to move
now
that.
the question, Thomas, how often do you hear other people stating, you're trying to be like Transformers, or you're not like Transformers, or do your own thing, stop trying to copy Transformers, because these look nut these yeah, you're not like Transformers. I like
At all.
these
Thank
much
you,
better than
thank
Transformers.
you,
But how
appreciate
often
it.
have you heard that? How often do you hear that, or have you heard that?
I've heard that the Transformers thing. I've heard that probably. I heard it a few times. I
Mhm.
probably heard it twice at a con, at two different cons, where they said, "Are these Transformers, or are you drawing Transformers?" Like, no, you see the title up there, it's
I
Raxon
says
Universal Dominion,
Rexon.
and I'm like, they don't.
Yeah.
These are mechs. These people pilot these. And then I get the other thing. Oh, you're trying to copy like Gundam or
Yeah.
Robotech. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I
No.
said, if you're talking about as far as mechs go, giant mechs, yeah. You're talking about politics in the story, like in Gundam, yeah. And if you're talking about uh, huge mech battles and fleet battles, yes. So yeah, to an extent.
Because it's like I think a lot of people, it's weird because it's like when you talk to the folks who don't have a creative mindset, right? It's like they'll look at it like, oh, so you're doing the same thing as such and such. And it's like, yeah, and they were doing the same thing as the Iliad, and they were doing the
This
same thing
person.
as this, and they were doing the same
Right.
thing as the story of Atlantis, and they were doing the same thing as this. Like ever since story, ever since we learned how to communicate, humans learn how to communicate, story was always the thing. So there's something my mom used to say: there's nothing new under the sun. The only
Hmm.
thing that makes sure it's different is the way that you approach it, the way that you do it. And
Exactly.
quite honestly, I think that you are doing yours in a different manner because I haven't seen the ideal of this one uh massive overlord that you have within the Raxon. Like I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, I know you know a lot more about mech anime manga than I do. You could correct me if I'm right or wrong, but I've never seen anything like that.
Oh no, and that's the whole
So,
big thing is that I was trying to do something, you know, a bit different than what you
mhm,
see on TV, and like a lot of animes now, they're kind of so I ain't gonna well, sort of generic, which is why I like the old school anime where the storytelling and the animation was just like you
mhm,
knew there was a lot of
Hmm.
detail that went into that and a lot of passion that went into it. Whereas now
yeah,
everything is so easy computer animated and done, and it's like you can look at anime now and everything looks the same,
Mm.
you know. And what I liked was the old school stuff to where it felt good, it was fun,
Hmm.
the design concepts. Yeah, you guys, I've seen some stuff these days that'll blow myself out the water, but it's like,
mhm,
but who created it? Was this a studio creation? Did you pay somebody to create this for your story, or did you create it yourself?
Yeah.
right,
And that's the thing that I love about embracing it. The thing about being indie is that these are things that I created. Yeah, you're going to take inspiration from some of everything in life that
Always.
and those are good things, because it helps you build your universe. Like I've had people look at some of my stuff and like Jarvis Sheffield,
mhm.
me and him talk, and he was saying I was gloating to him when we was talking about. I was giving him some of the numbers of the drawings that I have.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
I had like 100 and I don't know, was it 167 mechs that I have
Hmm.
for the story
Hmm.
alone? And I
I
said, and
think,
I'm not done.
yep. Y'all think I got a lot of characters. He has
Yeah,
quite literally already
yeah.
Go ahead.
Mechs all over the place.
I've got well over 100 characters.
Mhm.
Uh, well over.
And that's not even the mechs, right? That's just the
Yeah, that's not
characters.
even the max. That's
Yep.
not even the max.
And
That
I
is.
just got one book.
and
I'm
then
just getting started.
and then Thomas, look, just to clear it up, like he said mechs. He
Yeah.
says he has over 100 characters, so that's like the human and the alien characters, and then the over 100 mechs. But you also have power armors. You also
Yeah,
have like construction mechs. You also have starfighters and starships, and
yeah,
I'll let you like you can tell them all the different things that you have because you got. I got his source one book is a lot. Like he already has enough to make like almost a 200. Was it 200 pages?
yeah.
200
The
page
source
source book.
one has 200 and what is it? 68 pages,
Yep.
and but that's just source book one. We're going up to at least what is it? Source book 7.
Mhm.
So each book is going to have roughly the same amount of pages, and pretty much all of the majority of all the drawings are already done and still getting
Yeah.
drawn for them. It's like pretty much the last books are 6 and 7, actually, and 5, because the bone is I tasked him because he created a whole new source book,
Oh man.
and that one is called Pirate Wars.
Uh-huh.
And that one is going to be. I told him, I said, it can't just be my stuff in here. You draw mechs just as good as I do, so get your stuff in here. I don't want it to just be all mine and you're my business partner. We 50-50 partners in it.
Yeah.
You draw, you write, you color, you do all this stuff. Get your mechs in here.
Mhm.
So he whipped out like 11 of them on me, and he was like, well, that's the start. I said, yeah, that's a damn good start. I keep them coming.
Yeah. For real. Especially with
So
mechs, like
Thomas, so you think you're better than us? Just go ahead and say that. You think you're better than us because you got all them source books?
he
No,
was just telling me before the show.
no.
He's like, I got to catch up with you, and I'm like,
Well, excuse
I got to
me?
catch up with you. It's like
I'm just not figuring
since
you
we've
out.
been friends, we've been doing this. This is like I've been our motion.
And I'm way
It's like
back
he
here.
goes out and I go out, and we're doing.
I'm
Well, you can
sorry,
blame Tyrone for this, though. This is partially Tyrone's fault
because
because
y'all please go follow his page because
Mhm.
I'm in love with the mechs. Like my favorite
Yep.
one already is the Bloodsport Expander. I love that one, and I'm in love with those mechs that have human and have those are amazing. I've never seen anything like that. So
And if y'all do want to follow, is Raxon is pretty much that Raxon Universal Dominion, but it's an underscore between Raxon and Universal and Dominion to
correct.
find his page.
Please
So what?
follow his page.
Yep. So what were you about to blame on me, Thomas?
That he thinks he's better than us, and you the reason why he's better than us.
the comic book aspect is Tyrone's fault
Very true.
because
I'll take the blame for that.
I'm gonna tell this story. I was originally just working on the source book. That was going to be my whole plan. I was putting everything on a gamble with the source book. So I created this little mini comic to go in the source book just to have a little extra in it. So Tyrone says, well, why don't you just make it a full comic? And then he says, in fact, why don't you just do comics? He's like, you already just started. Why wouldn't you? And I'm like, he's like, you ain't got enough content. And so I'm like, well, I wasn't sure if I was going to mess with comics. He's like, how else you going to tell your story? Just in the source book? What if people want more? I'm like,
That's tier. That sounds about right.
it was like,
That's
okay.
tier.
So the
Mind you, the whole time while he's telling you that he had already planned your first 3 books for you.
Yeah.
He just hasn't told you yet.
Yeah.
And then he already told you what the ending's gonna look like, even though you have an idea. Your idea is good, but add this in. This is my idea. And
Yeah.
you gotta figure out your whole future for you.
You talking from experience?
Of course.
See, that's what a comic I had. It was only 11 pages. He said,
Yeah.
make it a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that's cute within his head. He said, yeah, that's cute, but no, we're gonna do better than this.
I was like, that's cute. I like to write 30 pages. And then he started like his comics are just like mine. They're like 30-page comics.
And so when I did the little mini, I did the first one. It was only like it wasn't as big as the other one. So it's the first comic book is actually the shortest comic book, and it's the only one in black and white.
Mhm.
And
How
that
many
one,
pages is that?
huh?
How many pages is that? What is your idea of
Like,
short?
well, the main comics, they're like 34 pages each. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Told you.
all my comments are gonna be ash cans then. Don't have them.
Told you.
Oh
was
my
like-
gosh! But
and,
that's amazing though. That really is.
and it's his fault. It's Tyrone's fault.
Oh, I know.
Because
Tia low key think he better than me too. It's all right.
because we
If I
both
thought-
adopted the philosophy of go big or go home.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's my goal. That's
it's like-
my whole
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, well,
Mhm.
let's do it.
Yeah.
So
And he
my
did.
goal was to try to create a comic book a month for 1 year.
Mm.
Why did I do that? So I was
Okay.
like, okay, I'll try to crank out 12 comic books in 1 year.
Oh wow.
Were you successful?
Damn near. I'm gonna tell y'all this one horror story in a second. Put a pin in that one. I
Mhm.
managed to get 7 out in 1 year, in the first year.
Oh,
That's still insane.
that
Yeah.
is.
I remember when you were telling me you were just going up, and I'm like, damn. Because he started passing me. I was like, I got to catch up.
It was like they was just flying out of my head, and I was like, okay, because I was, I was enjoying it. I was having big time fun with it. So it was like, oh hell yeah. All right, let me put this down, because I was rough drafting all the pages.
Yeah.
So, of course, I go over with the lines with Tyrone and be reading them myself. As when you write something out, then you read it, you be like, that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
And then somebody else read it, be like, it sounds even worse hearing it from somebody else. So I'll be like, okay, let me go back and change these words around. Be like, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah. And then when I got Damone on board, he started reading. He was like, oh yeah. It's like he gives the final seal of approval. He'll be like reading, like, I like this. I'll be like, oh, that passes? Yeah, that passes. Okay. So it was just like year one, I was just going, and I had my own commissioners. Pretty much my main commissioner was Mark Marvita at the time, and he was cranking out the pages as fast as I could pay him. And let's just say I could have went to college off the amount of money I spent, but it's fun, because it wasn't cheap, but it was it's a learning lesson. But it's like you only live once, and if you're gonna have fun with it, and if you got the vision to do it, you go ahead and do it. Because otherwise, I could have spent a ton of money on just BS, just doing nothing with it, and sitting there saying, I'd like to do this one day, and one day ain't never coming because you ain't putting nothing towards it.
No, it's not.
Exactly. And that's my thing. That's how I live. Like I would rather be on my deathbed and be like, you know what? I tried it. I published books. I got fans. They liked it. I did it. Yeah, I'd rather be that than be, sitting on the corner with my grandkids, seeing them draw. But back in my day, I used to draw too.
I used to draw too.
It's like, really? Where's it at, Granddad?
Yep.
I chose not to do it.
Just in my head.
Yeah.
In my head.
And that was my problem. I had stuff in my head for too long.
Yeah.
I said, got to come out.
Yep.
Oh
and
yeah.
Like, and now the reason I didn't get to further comics was I got screwed, and it was a good lesson for me because I wound up getting the actual artist, where I had a guy who was saying he was going to draw, but he was actually paying the artist through his company. And when I seen the artist's name, and I'm like, I'm sending you this money, and you keep on asking me for more money, and I'm like, well, what's going on here? Who is this guy that's initialing on these covers? You said you did it. Well, I was part of it. How could you be part of it? And this ain't even your artwork. Exactly. He's doing all this. And then he wasn't meeting the deadlines that was being set. So I was like, okay, so something ain't right here. I said, you know what? We need to cut ties. I said, you didn't finish this project. I don't have anything solid. I said, just refund me my money. He didn't want to do it. He's like, well, the contract says this. He had some dirty little language hidden in the detail. I gave him that. But I told him, I said, you're lucky. You're very lucky right now that I'm not in the mood to get on a plane and come find you. I said, I don't need to get on a plane with a hammer. I can buy one of those at a hardware store.
Yep.
Or buy one when you get there.
I
Exactly.
said, you better pray to God
I
I'd
never
never
see you at a con.
catch you at a con
Ooh.
because you'll never see me coming. I said, I know exactly what you look like, and you know exactly what I look like. I said, but trust and believe, I will catch
That would be the
Yes.
first time that you will see me doing this.
Make it
Get
paper.
him! There he is. Get him.
Yeah. But it's crazy though, like because a lot of people, because like you hear so many artists talk about how they get screwed by publishers,
Yeah.
but a lot of us publishers get screwed over by artists too. But it's
you.
like we either bite our tongues or we'll just let the other publisher know, like, hey, this is who I hired, this is what they did.
Correct.
Like we don't blast it all over Twitter and Facebook and everything else like the artists do. We don't do all that. We just be like, hey, publisher, I heard you were thinking about using such and such. Well, they owe me 10 pages and I paid them $2,000. And that's how the word spreads in the publisher world, which is wild. And when it spreads like that, cool, believe you're an artist, you will not get used again. You will have to atone for your sins before someone uses you again. So, oh man, you already like answer like two of the questions, but no worries. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going.
I need somebody to put something in the comments.
There's gonna be some more questions coming from you. Don't worry.
Did I even ask when you got the first idea for Raxon Universe? I know I asked about, but I don't think I asked you when you got the idea. No, I didn't. So we're gonna go to that one. Yeah. When did you get the idea to create the Raxon Universe?
That's always a funny story. It was like a combination of things. It was the video game Contra and the video game Zaxxon from back in the day. And yeah, that's way beyond y'all time. I can already see y'all looking like never heard of that. Yeah.
We up here Googling like I am.
What game you say? Hold on. Like, what did you say? You said Zaxxon? What game did you say?
ZAX, I think it had two X's in it. ZAXXON. It might have one.
Zaxxon. Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen that before. I've seen it, but I don't think
like
I've ever
Asteroid and Space Invaders back in the day. And the thing was the way Raxon, I had named it that. I was like, watching TV, playing a video game. And I was like, And I remember I was beating the boss in Contra. And I was just like, I should make my own. And then it started from there. And I started messing around with it and everything. And it originally started off like G.I. Joe. It was like I was only drawing body armors, not power armors, just body pieces and vehicles. Like the different kind of tank vehicles, jets, all of that kind of stuff is what I was drawing originally. And then I stopped when one day I drew a mech, and I drew it out of nowhere. It was only probably about 2 or 3 inches big, and it was just it was a miniature sketch. And I was like, how did I draw that? And the angle that I drew it in, the pose and everything, I was like, that's kind of damn cool. And so I was playing around with it. I said, I took tracing paper, started drawing, drew it in a whole nother pose, and I was like, oh wow, okay. And then I just started drawing robots. And I was working at Myers. This was like, now we're going back into 1990. It was a friend of mine that I met, found him all these years back, Dave Hohensey. He got me into the RPG books of Palladium, Robotech, and all of those. And he was like, check these out. So I started reading them. I was like, oh, okay. And then my cousin got me into the role-playing games. So I was like, okay. So I started adopting little things that I seen from the Palladium books, and I was like, make my own story, And I was using their formats to do my spec sheets. So when I made my very, very first Raxon book, I don't have that today, but it was only like it was a real small book. It was like 20 pages, something like that. Because I didn't have as many drawings as I have now. But over the years, I had started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Hey there, me. And it was just like growing. And I was, living, of course, you got to work, paying bills and everything, and get caught up in other stuff. And we had a fire at our house in '97. I lost a lot of drawings, a lot of them. So a lot of stuff I wound up redrawing from memory and drafts that I had that was on messed up pieces of paper. I had back engineered a lot of drawings, but I had a lot of stuff back then, but updated a lot of things over the time. And I got back into getting serious in the Raxon when I met a guy named Dave White on a site called Monthly Mecha Fighting Tournament.
Okay.
It was like people would draw mechs and they put them in and people would vote on who they felt was the best. And everybody only got one vote, and at the end of the month, you know, if you got the most votes, you get a prize. So I was like, okay. And I seen him on there and I seen his mechs. So I started following him and I seen his page, and he was the first person I saw that had a book, his own book and everything. And I was like, and I love the way he colored his stuff. So I reached out to him and asked him if he did commissions and how much, color my drawing, because I could draw. I was freehand, so I didn't know how to draw digital or color digital. So he was the first one that reached out that helped me with that, and he was able to color it. And the first drawing he did, I was like, I got spoiled. I was like, okay, this is how they're going to do. Yep. I was looking at the way I was coloring it with markers, and I said, yeah, this black and white first. Now this got to be color, and this got to be this level. And at that time, it was like $75 a drawing, and he'd send me a disc that had the drawing in tons of formats, like JPEGs, pings, tips, transparent backgrounds, the whole 9 yards. And he was bad as hell. And he did a couple of them, and then he started getting bigger and bigger. And I was going through a lot of stuff then, so it was like, and it was costing me. So I had to see how far in this I could actually take it. So we kind of parted ways on a good basis, though. I bought his books, and it was like the biggest inspiration, because I would still be able to reach out to him and ask him for different things. So when I told him I wanted to make my book, and I wanted the way he did his, because he did his in a hardcover, but his book was just mechs that he drew. No story behind them or anything. Some were probably commissioned for other people, possibly. But it was one of the biggest inspirations. And I was like, okay, but when I saw the price of how much those hardcovers was going to cost me, and the company that I was going to go with, which was the same one he was talking about, I was like, I need a Kickstarter for this.
Yeah,
it was going to be like $10,000 for 250. And I was like, I don't even know 250 feet. So how the heck am I going to sell this? And the thing was getting people to understand the Kickstarter, that this ain't the March of Dimes. This stuff costs me money, and I'm trying to get support from everybody to buy my stuff. Friends, family, and I got pushback from family and friends. So I'm saying, you're gonna charge this much for this book, and that kind of used to sting me, because it's like, damn, you don't value nothing I'm doing. Yeah. It's like, okay, I understand that other people's stuff out there might be cheaper, but they might have had the distribution networks that I don't have.
Yeah. So one of the reasons, if I get it real quick, this is the part a lot of people don't understand when it comes to publishing, printing, and distribution. A lot of people look at Marvel and DC, because I've had it happen to me. They're like, oh, your comics are $5, or Marvel and DC are $3. Well, this is the difference. And I want folks out there to listen to this so you can see the difference. My comics are $5, and I'm getting maybe 100. DC and Marvel's comics are $3, $4, and $5, and they're buying hundreds of thousands. So they should be charging you 25 cents, quite literally. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
exactly,
because they're making their money back.
Exactly. It's like
they're getting their money back. So
it's like, not only are they making their money, because when you start ordering hundreds of thousands of books, you're technically paying, I would say, probably anywhere between 25 to 50. No, actually a little lower. I would say probably 15 cents to 25 per print when you get that high. When you get up to like the hundreds of thousands of books, it drops really, really low, because even when you get to like over 1,000 books, you're dropping into the dollar area for print. So hundreds of thousands, you're dropping into change, and they're still charging you $3 to $4 more for that product.
So they're making way over enough,
just way over enough. And so it's like
profit.
Right. So when people say that to indies, it's like, oh, that's $5. You're trying to rip me off. No, I'm literally trying to break even, and I'm still not going to.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
Who you think you are, Marvel?
They probably print their own books.
yeah.
You know, probably print them. So it's like they saving on the print costs. Whereas we got to pay a company to do our printing, and it's like I like people ask me, where you get your books printed? I'll tell them the same place I've been getting them, Greco, Comic Well Springs, same place. And
the truth.
And I tell them, like, they say, how much is it for the comics? I said they charge, it'd be like about 80 something bucks to give you 25 of them because the way the quality that I get them in.
Yeah.
You know, and they'd be like, just for 25?
Yeah.
Printing is not cheap, you know, but it's not a bad price for the quality. That you get. The first thing I do is I say, okay, if it's 25 bucks, if I can sell these 25 at the price of $5 a piece, I made a profit.
Exactly.
You know,
you could get reprints.
It's
reprints and
go
for
fund itself. You know, it's just things of people not understanding that because they'll think, well, if you're able to make a comic book, you must have money.
No,
it doesn't work at all.
You just don't understand.
Like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes in this because it's like, you know, I'm not a comic maker. Where it's like if I was able to draw the full comic out myself and color it and everything, I'd save tons of money. Yeah, but I also lose a lot of time because it takes time
to do that.
You know, and so you know when you're finding people who can do it, it's like you got to have that money because they're like, I can make a comic for you. I can do it however you want it and hook it up. That's going to cost money. People don't be looking at how much did you pay? I was like, hell, at one time I paid $2,500 for a book, you know, just to sell 25 of them for $5.
Exactly. Right. Like you remember when I was going through the stuff with Temple High when I first did the first version of Temple High. So the Temple High y'all see issue 1 is actually a remake. So there was one that I fully finished that's been fully paid off. I know you've seen it, Thomas. And I paid like $2,500 roughly to get that done. And since it did not pan out the way I wanted to, I had to pay an entirely more $2,500 to get the Marvita brothers to do the new one. So on that book alone, I paid about $6,000 to get that book made. So a lot of people don't look at it. They're like, "Oh, so you're rolling in money?" Like, no, that was a lot of ramen eating.
That's why I always love for people to, when I do it on my page, I always kind of go like, I want you to understand the behind the scenes stuff, why it takes so long, you know, why it's not going to come out within the next month. You know, you have to understand we're human. Our artists are human. Our letterers are human. Our editors are human. They have families, and their dads, their fathers, their sisters. They have kids. You have to just be a little more understanding. But people like, oh, it's taking so long. Okay, look, sorry, not sorry. You just have to just be understanding. We're just as anxious as you are because we want our stuff out. We don't want to lose you. We want our stuff out. So
and then you got like the other group of folks, and I know you see these group of folks too, Thomas, because I remember we talked about this too, where you go to a con and you'd be like, well, how much is your book? Like, oh, $5. They're like, oh, that's it. And you kind of look at them like, now you know good and well if this would have been $10, you would have kept walking by. Like, don't even go there. Because I remember I was actually at a con recently at Colorado Springs Comic Con, and someone stopped and he was like, wow, $5, that's it? And I was like, yeah, that's all. And he was like, wow, I would have thought it would have been more. I was like, well, I did start off at 10, but nobody bought them. I was like, so I had to lower it. Like, nobody was really buying them at 10, you know. And then if you do get people who buy them, like, they'll buy them. But it's not like, since I dropped it to 5, I have more people buying. So I'm actually making more money. I'm making more from it selling them at 5 than I would have at 10, even though 10 is the bigger number. It's just 10 got less buys than 5 does. So,
not Tyrone. Too.
What's that?
You know, we got to tell the story of what you did with your first Orisha's comic.
What? Oh, Lord. You know the way I printed it?
The one with the black frame around it?
Oh yeah. But it got even worse.
Oh, my Lord. What else?
This was when we first met. He came to the convention in Detroit. He whips out his books. And it's like, okay, he did it. I was like, did you fix all your stuff in it? He was like, yeah, I took care of it. we opened up the books to look at it. You talking about ass ready to bleed from trying to read.
I had
It
no
was
idea
like
what I'm doing,
the
yo.
font was so small. I was like,
Yeah. I
okay,
had no idea what I was doing, yo.
I'm trying to read. I'm doing like Fred Sanford, like,
Yeah.
what did you do?
No,
What happened?
no
And
idea what.
he had this look on his face that was just like,
Yep. No idea what I was doing. And it was funny too, because actually, I know at Greco, like when I talk to them and stuff, I tell them all the time that's the reason why I stuck with them, because they whenever they saw it, they were kind of like, "You sure you want to print that?" And I was like, I should have, but I didn't know what I like as far like I knew how to make a comic, I knew how to write the story, but the printing part, no clue what to do. So when it was printed, it was like, damn, you know. But fortunately, at that con, they did have some folks who work with like Marvel and DC and stuff like that. Because Brandon, what's his name? Because he does a lot of writing for like Image and Skybound. Brandon, because he was sitting beside me, and so he looked at some of the stuff.
I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, his last name is escaping me right now. Dang, because he did that one book about the black like sorcerers and stuff like that. He did that book too. I can't think of his name right now. His last name at least. But he gave me some pointers, and then of course Marcus Williams was there, gave me some pointers and stuff. And then I just went home and I looked at this book, because what really like it hurt my feelings, but it was like, I get it, girl. That's what I said. I said in my mind, I was like, I get it, girl, because the girl walked by, looked at it, and was like, opened it, and was like, nope.
Is it Brandon Thomas?
Yes, Brandon Thomas. Yep,
Brandon Thomas. Okay.
Yeah, we actually hung out and stuff up there, but like when she did that, like it hurt my feelings. But then I was like, I gotta fix this. So that's when I went back and asked Thomas. From there, I was a research machine. Everything I was researching everything, and that's the reason why people are like, you research too much. Like, I ain't trying to make the mistake like I did before. Like, I want to make sure that when I do it, I know what's going on. So,
and this was the funniest part though, because we was like, because Damone had did the book, and so he was saying, "Did you want me to just do the just send me the lines and I can put it in the word book?" Tyrone was like, "No, I got this." So it's like, okay,
I'll do it.
And then when he did that, it was like, I remember saying, I was like, "You got this, huh?" So that's what you need.
Yep. But now,
oh yeah, now
I am a master.
You did the reissue. It was like you can read that sucker. Like, okay, that's what's
far
up.
away. I'm a master letterer.
Yeah,
I even know how to letter mangas now.
It was good, and that was fun, because it was all learning experiences there. Because we sold a good amount of books at that convention, and I was happy. That was the first time that Ty came to Detroit, and that was probably the most fun we've had at a convention. Like the ones that I've been to since. I told he was going to see about trying to come this year, but neither one of us was able to make it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really 100% prepared. Plus, I had a car accident, so it threw everything off.
Wow.
So it was like things worked out, because we said next year we got to hook up, and you got to get your butt down here, and we got to go have some fun, and you got to come out, and we got to hit some cons, or we got to find a con that's good. So the one that I do know of that's here is that I said I was going to do was Andre Bat's Motor City Age of Comics.
Yeah,
that one I'm definitely, because Andre, he was the first convention in Detroit that I went to, and I'm forever grateful for that, because like he's a cool guy, and he always been inviting me and Damone to come out there, and I'm like, okay, we're coming. Yep. I said we're gonna bring. I said I'm gonna need a nice amount of space though, if you want me to bring everything.
Yeah. So, tell them about why you need space though. Like,
yeah, let's just say I have ships that are at least a foot long.
Yeah, ships.
3D printed. These will be for sale soon. From a foot to smaller. This is the Comet Splitter. From,
Thomas. You think you're better than me?
Hey,
no.
He pulling out ship.
You just gonna show your ship. You think you're better than me?
That's the one from Onyx Aquafina, right?
Yep. Sovereign Spear.
Yep, the Sovereign Spear.
That is freaking amazing.
I didn't even know y'all printed Sovereign Sphere. I'm buying that. That's the one I want. The Sovereign Sphere.
Oh yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one I want.
Damone has been the mad scientist creating stuff, and the other things that we are working on finishing is the mechanized toy line. And this
Oh, boy.
figure has probably over 30 points of articulation, where head's on a ball joint, turns, arms, knees
Killing
bend,
it.
double jointed knees, double jointed arms. Trying to find the camera on here. Whole multitude of different things that a lot of articulation it has, and of course back gun pod and everything like that. So, it's a lot that we're trying to get done. We're trying to find an actual manufacturer because 3D printing, it becomes taxing, but it's also the thing of you want that toy quality print.
Yeah.
So where with a 3D print, you move it around enough times, the ball joints in it are going to get real loose.
Mhm.
So they're pretty much like these would be exclusives that we would be selling until we can get the toy line. Like the ships, you don't have to worry about the ships because they're not moving parts on them. But there's our things that we're working on, and it's the things of getting them painted, colored, and everything in box. So those are the things that we're working on as we speak. Is getting those things together to try to have ready by next year. We've been hit with a lot of setbacks here and there.
Mhm.
COVID set back a lot of things and up to a lot of price.
Oh, yeah.
So those are just a few little things. No, I'm not thinking I'm better than anybody. So it's like,
Nope. I mean, but you do got
But-
you skipped over the whole other thing. You do got a freaking 9-foot mech that freaking
Yes, the one that I see the picture on your page.
Yeah, we call him the big guy. That's actually the
Well,
big figure of the action figure I just showed, the Mortar Boy S1.
Where do you
hold
keep
on.
him storage at?
We
'Cause-
are about to show that.
He's actually at my house in the basement. He breaks apart into several pieces.
Oh, that is
And
so you
what
go ahead. Sorry.
the thing is, a lot of people were wondering what is that thing made of? Who made it? Damone made it. And the funniest thing was we put it together the day of at the convention. And
you'll see that.
Yeah. And the funniest thing was because the night before we were trying to put it together, it was supposed to be able to stand on its own. The night before we couldn't get it to stand. Now we had to run to Home Depot in the middle of the night, try to buy all the tubing and everything. And Damone had to make a makeshift stand for it to stand. He was doing that on the parking lot while we were getting ready for the con that morning. And so when he finally got it perfected, we used carts. We started wheeling in the parts. People were looking like, what the hell are they? What are they building back there? And the next thing you know, it's the biggest display in the whole convention. And they were like, wow. And then when we took up so many tables for our comic books and banner, they were like, okay, really?
That's how you do it right there.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Go big or go home. So I was like, well, we're going to go big. Big banner, big mech, we took up tables. Hell, we had fun. It was like, I wasn't, and I never have the mentality of, trying to showboat to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking that I'm better than anybody because people ask, well, how are you able to do it? I was like, well, I work a full-time job. I said, I've spent money on this project. I'm invested into it because I said, it's not going to, I want to have this universe finished because it's all in my head. This whole story has a beginning and an end. And pretty much I've damn near wrapped up the entire story to where it's like Star Wars, how George Lucas had it. It's like you got the whole saga, but you can have tons of room to where you can have offshoots of anything. Like when we plan on making the game, if we do an RPG, you can pick it up and you don't even have to follow the story plot. You can play in the game anywhere in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So those are little things that we plan on doing if we do the RPG or when we do the RPG. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, because some people, but some games they want you to follow the story plot,
Mhm.
but I may not want to start there. I may want to go over here and fight over here. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's I think that's a good idea, and
Yeah, it is.
that's being considered of the gamers because some gamers don't like to start with the beginning. They like to they want to start at the
The open
end.
world sandboxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I got a question for you though, because I'm curious. Like, and I think we've talked about this, but just to bring it up, like, why comics and not manga? And and I know I remember when we talked about it because I remember I told you with Arisha Exo, so I was like the comic isn't selling, and I feel like I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to manga. Then I went to manga and the Joker freaking sold out. So so I'm curious though, like why the I know it probably was me saying do a comic, but but also I mean I know you read manga too, but what was your what was the reasoning for that?
It's Tira's fault. Go ahead.
It is. It is.
Oh,
It's 100% his fault.
it's Tira's fault.
See, he was talking about comics in the beginning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
He didn't say nothing about doing manga.
yeah. I wasn't
And
even thinking about it till like later, and I was like, you
it
know
was,
what?
and it was the furthest thing from my mind because I was like, he doing the comic. You know what? Yeah. He done hooked me up and saying, yeah, you can go ahead and do a comic, do a full comic. I started looking at, because I used to love Aliens and Predator comic books. So I had
Yeah,
tons of those. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, yeah, do the comic.
I had to make mangas because you made a 9 foot freaking mech, so I had to I
It
had
was
to catch up and
too
start
big to
making mangas.
go home. So I was like, yeah. Then he turns around in the last year
Mhm.
talking about,
Typical
yeah, I think
Tira.
I'm gonna turn Orisha Exos into a manga.
Mhm.
Really? Yeah. He one ups it again. He
Yeah.
showed me pictures of it in manga form. I'm like, you dirty
Typical Tira faction.
man.
Hey, I would say y'all straight away. Me and Thomas is like if, like y'all like everybody out there who in the Chimera Kingdom who knows me. I know I say I compete with myself, right? Thomas is quite literally probably the only person outside of myself who has a business that I'm actually directly competing on. But it's like a fun competition
Mhm.
because he'll do something. I'm like, damn, now I got to do something. Then I'll do something. And he'll be like, damn, now I got to do something. And that's why I said we're like this. Since we met, we've been, you know, taking the lead each time.
It's like he'll push me, I'll push him. He'll be like, what you think about this? And we both always say the same things. Do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do it. Go ahead. Yeah, that's a good idea. We've also thrown out ideas that we might have had questions on it, like, well, if you're going to do that, do this. Like he might ask me sci-fi questions, and I might say, okay, well, you don't have to give no explanation on this, certain things. I mean, take it back to the times when sci-fi was fun, when you didn't have to answer all certain questions.
Yeah.
You look at animes back in the day, space shows and everything. You didn't care how gravity worked in there. You wasn't thinking about, well, how were they able to go into light speed without killing themselves?
Yeah.
It's the things of they did it. That's all that matters. It happens. You were in it for a sci-fi adventure for fun. And that was the main thing was that's all you wanted. You was happy to see the next episode of when it's coming on. Like, okay, yeah, all right. Flash Gordon. I used to watch the black and white one. That's the way it was.
Oh, Scorp.
I
SJ
know
calling you out.
I knew you was gonna put that comment up there when I saw it. I said, "Watch, they're gonna put this comment up here." SJ, oh, Kyle.
Oh, and Jay still said facts because I think Jay still wants to write a book for the Silververse too. He hasn't said anything. I think he wants to too. I know Thomas will. Thomas and Damone are going to be writing Orisha Exo's book soon because I need to. I got a book that I'm going to write for y'all. I still got the ideal in my head. Because he got some other mechs that are like Arctic mechs, and I saw them things and I was like, as soon as I saw them, instant story idea. As soon as I saw them. So,
I want to say I need some mechs. Okay, say less. What you need?
Yep.
Like, and I'm not. I got tied up. I haven't forgot the one ship you want me to do.
Because I know you already gave me. Oh yeah, and just to let y'all know, because they've seen it, the Jabberwocky.
Ah,
Thomas is the one who drew the Jabberwocky. So the ship that's going to be in the future, Ayamo Stigmata issue 3, whenever they finally meet Alice and stuff like that. That's gonna be her ship, the Jabberwocky. He also, like I said, designed Tuskegee's P-51 Starfighter. Pretty much
that was
all the ships, even the other ship, like the main ship, the Ayamo Stigmata, which I hope y'all caught on to that. Because that's how sci-fi works. Usually, whatever the name is, the name of the show is usually what the name of the ship is.
Yeah.
that was a fun job, that Tuskegee, the fighter.
Yeah.
Because when you said you wanted to do that, and I was like, that's a hell of a homage.
Yeah.
And so it was like, and you said you wanted to look, like the planes that they flew. And so it's like when I was like, okay, I think I can come up with some ideas for that. So it was like a combination of a few things when I put that one together. But when I saw it in action in the comic, I was like, damn, okay. Didn't know we were gonna do all that, but all right. That's what I'm talking about.
You talking them underjets when he did that back did the back
Man. Main cannon that he didn't fire. I'm like, what?
Oh goodness.
That thing is a mini Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, well, I'm not saying nothing. It's like one of those. Who said that thing could do that? Who said it couldn't?
Exactly. and I had to, like, I really had to. 'Cause I was like, you know what? Like the way you cut up on that design, I was like, there ain't no way in hell I'm just gonna give this thing regular weapons.
No.
Like, there ain't no way.
Because I started to do like I did the one ship. So I started to add a whole bunch of weapons packs, options for it, and just put it on there. You know how you see sometimes you see the jets, fighter jets, and you see all the different missiles payloads they can carry. I started to do a drawing like that to send to you, like just some options. And truth be told, you still can.
Yeah, still can.
Just put that out there,
That's the thing, because that's the lovely thing with sci-fi. Because if it gets destroyed or something, you could be like, "Hey, I'm pulling it in to get upgrades."
Yeah, you want some upgrades? Just let me know. I can hook that up.
Bet. We got 2 questions from the from the crowd out there, so we're gonna ask this one. This is from Joshua Stacy on Facebook. He says, "What is the biggest hurdle for you as a publisher?"
The biggest hurdle, I guess sometimes it can be a few things. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed with your project, and you can get stress blocks, and you can lock up because you can have your whole idea out, and you can be writing it. Then next, you start getting distracted by thinking about the reality of situations. And I say by that is, how much is this going to cost me to get done? Who am I going to have do it?
Yeah.
How long is it going to take me to get this whole project done? Especially like if you're dealing with comic books and if you're not drawing your own work, if you're not an artist and you're a writer. And it's finding a commissioner, somebody who can draw in the style that you want versus just being able to draw your book, your story, and can actually add some depth to your work.
Yep.
So, those things can cause you to have a brain lock sometimes, because you start thinking about, damn, okay, how much is this going to hit me for? And sometimes when they throw out those prices, it can be like a whole world comes shattering down around you. Thing of finding people you can work with, who can work within your budget, your time frames, and everything like that. Those are some of the things that I had to go through and learn. And sometimes you might get somebody, they may quote you a price and you be like, okay, I can work with that, but always research their works, to see if their artwork is what you're looking for, and if they can draw what you need them to draw, And if you have work that's already drawn and you can supply that to them, it makes things go a lot smoother. So like Tyrone was like, hey, I need some ships, I need some mechs, I need this and that. Okay, here you go. Boom. So when he was ready to put it into the art, that person that he was having do his comics already had all the stuff that they needed. And it gave them wiggle room to play around with some things. Like I didn't draw a back of it, Okay, now it's his turn to say if he likes the way that back is designed,
Yeah.
or if he doesn't have some idea for it himself. So for the publishing, those are a lot of things, and then it's also things of trying to find out what companies will you go through for sure.
Mhm.
It comes time for the printing, research everything. As far as distribution, if you're talking about having a distributor, I never got into a distributor because my thing was, I was like, if I spend all this money, I'm not spending no more money for somebody else to help me sell this stuff.
Yep.
I try to sell on my own. If I flunk at it, it's a learning experience as long as I learn something out of it.
Mhm.
I got no problem with people helping or, helping with PR or helping advertise my stuff, but selling it, they're going to get a cut of it.
Right.
And you're not guaranteed to sell anything, but they're going to want to cut because you got to pay them just for the process of getting ready to sell your stuff. So you're going to have to work out the money. So it's like, my thing is keep the money for yourself, advertise it yourself, invest into yourself to do it. And that way, if it takes you a while, you're working on your budget. You don't work on nobody else's budget. You work on yours
Mhm.
and the funds that you have available. So if it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer. But that way, it's a learning experience, and you can also be filtering out things that you might have messed up on, or you might go back because trust and believe that first book, you're gonna always find flaws in it. I got 12, and I still can go back and find flaws, and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, why did that person see that?
Yep.
Oh, why not draw it like that? Okay,
I feel like every time I read something, I find, damn, there should have been a period there.
Yeah, and the guy here, he would always point out, you don't need to put a period right there, thanks, after it's been printed.
Yeah.
And then I was happy with it, and now you just gonna ruin it.
Exactly.
That straight up depressed me. I'm reading, like, man, I did really good. Oh shit, I forgot a comma.
Yeah.
or like one time, instead of doing a comma, I think I did quotes. When someone said what, I did quotes instead of the comma. I was like, are you serious? But it happens, It happens.
And you find them in all books, even professional books, Marvel, DC, you find flaws in every book. So there's I tell people, don't worry about it. It's like, you ain't even got to catch it you ain't even got to redo it in a reprint. Leave it in there. Because when your book becomes famous and you shoot for that goal, you got errors in it. So
people gonna want those errors. That's why as Sovereign Comics grows, you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna end up getting that horrible version of Temple High issue 1 printed, and then those big black border Orisha X's.
I still got
one of those.
You still got it?
I still have it. I have heard it time I open that book.
I want to get one graded just to see what it gets.
It's like anytime I open that book, I'll be like, oh God, my eyes. You can't even read that book with sunglasses.
Yep,
it's gonna hurt.
They're gonna be like -10. Like, yeah, first -10 in CGC history. Hold on. So Jay wants to know too. So this RPG game, when and can I be a tester?
Absolutely.
That's gonna be.
We definitely gonna be testing.
You're gonna be testing 2 games because I want you to test. Cover doing I know I told you about the card game that I wanted, the trading card game.
Yeah.
So I want you to test on that too. And Jay said he was going to test on that. So yeah, Jay he'll test on him. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
That's the thing of building off each other. Because when Tier was telling me about a card game, I was like, I thought about that, and then he breaks up and says, "You should do it."
Now you tell me, Tier, after I done started this game, now you want to do a card game too? Okay.
I'm like, I got enough gray hair under this hat. That's enough. And of course, it's gonna be it's one of those, damn, that do sound good. Oh. Yeah, okay. On top of everything else I'm trying to get done that can't finish.
Let me tell you something. That's why the good Lord created cloves. Get you some clove water. It eliminates that gray.
You said clove water?
Get you some cloves. Put it in water, let it take the juice, and then spray it in your hair.
I'm about to do that.
You may have gray hair
right now. I'm skunking. I think my gray hair gonna go like this with my locks.
So
it's gonna be like a straight up.
When you sweat, it's gonna sweat out. Right. You're no homemade just for me, and now are you?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
So I think mine are making the ram horns from the Chimera though. They're starting to.
The man
Hold on.
started. I had the original Nick Fury going on.
Oh goodness.
Gray on the sides.
Oh.
And it slowly started coming to the top.
Oh,
Like
What?
my hair ain't cut right now, so I ain't doing that. I ain't taking my hat off.
I feel that. So here's another question from Mimi. It was actually the last question I was going to ask you, so I'm going to use this question to close out the show. Which this has been fun, man. I can't believe we already over an hour. That's crazy. Thomas, we definitely have you back on though.
Most definitely.
Because I know there's more to talk about with Raxon, so we're definitely gonna have you back on. So Mimi said, are you planning to go in any other direction with your drawings, art, outside of comics and figures?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Plans are, well, we got a lot of plans. We're looking into animation.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking into two different types of animation. We're looking into CG animation to run on game engines. We're also looking into the video game aspect.
Mhm.
So the game engines like Unity and I always forget those game engines, but people are making cinematics with them. So those are some of the CG things that we're talking about doing to show off our ships, mechs, everything like that, to try to get people seeing into the animation. We're going to be getting into doing more videos or videos, period, to see about trying to get Patreon support to where we can start looking more and deeper into crowdfunding to try to help with cost on a lot of things. So the animation is definitely something we're moving into, and we just want to make sure that we have whatever we're bringing to the table. So, you know, with animation, you don't want to just start off say, "Yeah, I want to do anime." Okay, of what? Well, I got 12 comic books so far. Okay, what are we doing the animation of? Book 1, 2, 3, or are we doing all 12? Is each one going to be an episode? What's going to be happening? What are the lines that people are going to be saying in these?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to do it in a comic book, but if you read a comic book out loud, it only takes you about less than 2 or 3 minutes. You know, so it's like, how do you translate that into making it stretch out into an animation over minutes? Because a minute in the animation, you know, a lot can be said in that 1 minute. That's pages of a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that we're researching currently. And like I say, that, you know, the RPG things is what we're looking into, along with figures and now card games. Thank you. Tier.
You're welcome.
And several other things that we be back and forth, you know, we put up because anytime you say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this," you should do it too. All I hear is my bank account getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm like, okay, yeah.
I've been hearing that a lot lately.
Yeah, I got to get into I got to have somebody help me with Patreon and our social media, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So we need some help on that. So that's the thing, is that a lot of those things we'll be dealing with moving forward. So hopefully we'll be getting more support.
So whenever I put his Instagram and Facebook up here, y'all make sure y'all go and follow if you aren't already.
You put the main website up there too.
Main website, bet.
Yeah, so that's where everybody can buy our comics from as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
And we're going to be making that website soon too.
It's full RaxonUniversalDominion.com, right?
No, just RaxonDominion.com.
Just Raxon Dominion. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
So there we go. I'm gonna let this scroll across the bottom, y'all, because you know we coming to close, and you know we like to share this information.
Yes.
Not CM. Not CM.
But it's okay.
I forgot the O. See, this is how quickly it happens when you're writing a comic book too. And if you send it up, if you don't edit it, that's the reason why now I've been working I know like you'll bring me on to like look over your books and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the same like with Arisha Exos, you and Damone. That's the reason why I've been bringing editors, because I'm like, man, I can't do this with my eyes. I need extra eyes because I'm skipping stuff.
It definitely helps. That's what we're gonna start doing too, is ramping back up on the comics, getting on issue 13. So that'll be out. That'll be coming out next year.
Yep.
Or arc 2 rather. The next 12 comics will be coming out hopefully next year.
Yeah, y'all got it. Now hopefully you gonna do it.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, I
Oh
got
yeah,
24 comics. I'm like, damn,
we're
I gotta
slated
get
to at least.
24.
I forgot how many covers we already got ready,
Mhm.
but we're slated for about at least 40 plus so far.
Mm.
Comics that's ready to go.
Oh,
Uh, Stories just have to just be put on paper. I already started on a lot of them,
of
so
course.
yeah. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than anybody.
Oh, I bet that wasn't even coming out. I'm just sitting here going like, hey, we're shooting our comments. I'm up here trying to. I just finished another one of mine, and I'm getting ready to start another one.
Mhm.
So, but of course, on top of that, while I'm starting the other one of the one that I'm working on now, I have some other ideas in my head that I'm like making note on my phone. Like I literally fell asleep one night and I dreamed of a story that I want to put in there, and I literally woke up out of my sleep around three something in the morning, and I typed out the full description of what I
Yep,
wanted to do. I'm just like,
That
what
is
is this?
that's what I did the other day when I was partaking in the Colorado State plant.
I was like, what is this?
I was like, oh, that's a good story idea.
I was like, what is this? I'm like, where's this coming from? I'm like, I'm trying to, and so I'm doing more. I'm writing and I'm thinking up other stuff,
Mhm.
and yeah, yeah, I tell everybody, I'm like, there's writing material all around you, believe it or
Is
not.
is yes, and it's definitely the state plant. Like,
Yeah, the state plant.
so for y'all who don't know, you could probably see this. I hope you can see this. Let me see. So that's what Thomas pretty much
Yeah.
created right there for Tuskegee. So yes, it is. It's still a red tail, still P-51 design, but instead I decided to call it the P-51 Starfighter. But that's it right there. Of Thomas's design.
It's,
Thomas did that.
that's not the one that he got in that part that I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, it's the same one. It got refurbished. No, it got retrofitted or refitted or whatever it got there. All right, so here's one more question. From Steve Sherman on YouTube. He says, "Would you consider developing a script and shopping it for a movie?"
Yeah. It's the thing of like I said, I have to learn about scripts and everything because like say script is understanding who's saying what,
Yeah,
all of this back and forth. Like he's more of a script writer because when he's writing, he's saying who's at what angle, they doing this or they standing here, these are the words, everything like that. For me, I'd have to be role playing at home of saying, okay,
yeah,
this person is standing there and I'm talking to this person, and how do you make things stretch out, like things that's going on in the background? Are you just looking like a sci-fi original movie where they standing in one room and staring at each other like line, you
yeah,
know,
exactly. I
you
will say
know,
this though. I will give you this though, Tom. I think I already told you about this dude. I don't know, but Robert McGee, like this is one of his books, dialogue. But he has a book on characters, and then he has a book on
mhm,
storytelling. He is a well-known scriptwriter and also producer and director and teacher in Hollywood. Like he taught a lot of the newer scriptwriters and stuff like that, who've like gone on to win freaking Academy Awards and shit and Oscars and stuff. Get his books. He has three of them,
oh yeah,
and they are like I read. Story is thick. Story is like, and I read it and I was like, yo, my whole idea on story, like even though I already knew how to write stories,
mhm.
it just has shifted even more. And I'm like, I never would have thought about doing it that way. And then like even with dialogue, learning more of that back and forth. So if you want to get into scripting, I would say check out his books because even in his books, he does have scripts because he uses like Hollywood movie scripts and stuff like that. He tells you like what made those movies the great and stuff, or what made their dialogue at that time the great, or whatever. A lot of information in there. So I will get
Hmm.
that. And you can use it in anything because I'm using it for comic book writing and
Yeah,
you can use it for stories. I mean, it's really for movie scripts, so
yeah.
movies and TV. So
He
yeah,
does. He does have some because I actually listened to some of it on audio. He
mhm,
does have some good information in there. Some stuff that you was like, I wouldn't even thought about doing that, thinking
yeah.
about it that way. But okay, now I am. But yeah, he has some good stuff.
And no, YouTube. I am not sponsored by Mr. Robert McGee. I would like to meet the dude though. I would love to pick his brain because reading his books, I'm like, this dude's a genius.
Yeah, Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is good. But yeah. So with that, we got all the information. You all, please, 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 please follow Mr. Thomas Johnson II. If you're not already, I'm still going through the page as I'm listening and talking. Some amazing work, and it's just some amazing things. I feel some amazing things are going to happen. So
Mhm.
you're on the right track. So I'm very proud to see that and see your stuff. I haven't gotten none of your books yet.
For
Shame on
shame.
me.
You gotta get
Because
it. You gotta.
Look, Tia just not introducing me to you. I just found out about
That's
you
a lie.
Yeah, see,
about a week ago.
that's what he be doing. That's him.
That's
That's what he do.
Tia tried to keep it to himself, but when you
Yeah.
wanted to share, yeah,
as many
Don't
times
tell
as I
nobody
said.
last minute.
yeah,
They'd be
Tia,
like, really?
Tia,
Really?
no, Tia. We're gonna blame Tia.
Mhm.
It's Tia's fault.
Oh man. So
Typical Tia. That's what we gonna call
Yeah.
it.
He's actually, I actually have his character in Raxon. And I'm debating on if I'm gonna kill him now.
oh man, don't do that.
Look. Long as it's not Kunoichi, we are good. You can
No.
kill
It's,
me.
it's a character based on me. He's a
Yeah,
he's a
I'm
Oh
taking
no.
his likeness and his character, and it's actually in Raxon. And he's not a background character. His character is actually somebody pretty important.
yep.
But
But
he
you want to
could
know what's
have
so?
space station explosion accidents,
But you want to know what Tyr will turn around
Yeah,
and do? Tyr will turn right around and find a way to bring him back to life. That you have no choice. Like, dang, I have to put that in the next book now because you did it this way.
like I said, like you thought he was on a mech, but he already ejected. You
yeah.
just didn't see him because of the explosion.
That's Tyr.
Mhm.
Live it to
But
Tyr.
see, that's the thing though with Raxon, they're just about as bad as me. Someone dies, that's it. They gone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it ain't no resurrection and all of that. It's like, yeah, that person just bought it. They got shot in the head. Yeah, they're dead.
Thank you, SJ. Thank you, SJ. Scorpio trainer.
Because you always talking to SJ, but you don't always talk to me about
I don't want to
everything.
hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
What's going on? What's going on, Jerry?
Like
All right.
I'm just now meeting the guy and seeing his Instagram. You ain't never post about it
I don't
on
want to
your
I don't
page.
want to hear that. I don't want to hear
But I'll
that.
just say this about the comics: there is a lot of violence in it,
hmm
Oh,
and
I
But
like
it's good.
violence.
Is
he always,
warranted. It's not like over the top violence just to be over the top. You know, it makes
yeah,
Yeah.
sense.
Pierre always says, "Don't get used to anybody." It's like Game of Thrones.
hmm
Oh well.
Like
Yep.
I said, well, that's the reality of a situation. Somebody cut lop off your head, you ain't growing another one. So
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
you get stabbed inside of a mech or power armor. I mean, you got impaled. That
That's it. I'm so sorry.
that happens.
That's
You
real
get out of
life.
it in time.
That's
Oh,
that's what
SJ. Oh,
that's what
SJ, sit down.
your Scorpio sister said right there.
Oh, SJ, please sit down. She's always no, he doesn't.
I'm trying to get like here. I'm trying to
No,
get
he
these
doesn't.
cosplay characters of mine,
Yeah. So
but I won't
all right, y'all.
want to do
This is
that.
this was a good show.
This is an
We're gonna go
awesome
ahead.
show. Y'all,
Oh yeah,
please do us a favor. Please don't forget to share whenever we go live, share the live so other people
Mhm.
can see it. We give out some good information. There may be other people out there that may not know or may need some or may need others. So, well, I'm glad you sit down. Have a double seat, SJ. But anywho,
You see what she said though?
still right there. Oh, still right though. No, you're not. He only talked to you about him. Like I said, we got to
Lies.
close out the show, SJ.
Lies.
But like, share,
Lies.
and comment, please, and also please, visit our Patreon
Mhm.
where you get some more behind the scenes stuff
Yep.
of us doing crazy stuff, deeper conversations that we don't even go into on the show. So yeah, you
Exactly.
don't want to miss that.
Yep. So thanks again, everybody, for joining. And
Appreciate
I
you.
hope that we brought you all a little closer to this creator, Thomas Johnson II,
Yes,
creator of Raxon Universal Dominion.
yes,
'Cause like I said, that's what we do. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly,
yeah.
and hopes to fill the gap or bridge the gap between creators
Bridget.
and their fans. So take it easy, everybody, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Night.